Welcome to Time Well Spent, a podcast from LaborSync, the only real-time, multilingual timesheet software your business will ever need. Have you ever spent an entire Tuesday driving between job sites just to check on your crews?
Oh, yeah. A lot of business owners do that,
Right, and you might think you're being a hands-on leader, but well, according to a recent LaborSync blog article, you're actually a bottleneck.
which is a tough pill to swallow.
Seriously. So today on Time Well Spent, we're exploring why clarity travels faster than micromanagement and how shifting your leadership style can save your time and, honestly, your sanity.
Yeah, because hovering over a team, it feels like a safety net. You're physically there, so things must be going right?
It definitely feels that way.
But micromanaging actually creates this culture where you become the single point of failure. If every decision has to pass through you, the actual speed of your business is entirely limited by how many phone calls you can physically take in a day.
Wow. Yeah, so it's basically like a traffic jam where every single car has to roll down the window and ask a single traffic cop for permission to move through the intersection.
That is a perfect analogy.
Right. The cars aren't the problem. The bottleneck is the cop.
Exactly. And that traffic cop dynamic strips a crew of their confidence. Psychologically, when every tiny decision is policed, employees develop a deep fear of doing the wrong thing.
So they just freeze up?
Pretty much. Or instead of making real progress, they start doing busy work. Like they might just sweep the same corner twice trying to look active just to avoid getting yelled at without actually being effective.
But wait, let me push back a little on that. Like, isn't checking on people just good quality control? I mean, how do we ensure our work gets done if we aren't actively watching them?
Well, the cure to the hovering instinct isn't to just walk away and stop caring.
Mm-hmm.
The cure is clarity.
Okay, so how do we do that?
You have to replace yourself with a system. And the blog article outlines 3 essential questions to answer before the day even starts. You need to know, what does success look like today? What matters most right now? And how is it measured?
Oh, so it's giving them a roadmap instead of a leash.
Exactly.
Like if we're working on a roof, it's the difference between saying get to work and saying, hey, we need the north side finished today. Safety and waterproofing are the priorities. The trim can wait.
Right. And then adding, we're tracking the square footage completed against the hours logged.
That makes a lot of sense.
Because when a lead hand has that specific criteria, they don't need to call you at 1:00 p.m. to ask if they should start the trim. They already know the answer.
Yeah.
They have the autonomy to make the call themselves, which acts as a massive force multiplier for your time.
Here's the paradox, though. Like, don't employees see time tracking or GPS apps as, micromanagement? It feels very Big Brother.
It can definitely feel that way initially, but a transparent system actually removes friction. Micromanagement is calling your guy unannounced at 2:00 p.m. demanding to know where he is.
Oh, yeah. Nobody likes that call.
Right. Clarity is having a system where the where and when are automatically logged. By removing the interrogation, you set a baseline of accountability. The technology does the reporting, so you can focus on the actual work.
Which shifts the relationship from surveillance to trust.
Yes, and trust is fast, which is critical if you want to grow. You can realistically hover over a crew of 3 to 7 people, assuming you don't mind never seeing your family.
Yeah, good luck with that.
But you absolutely cannot micromanage 20 or 100 people. Scaling requires processes.
Because effort doesn't scale.
Right. You have to write directives down. Shouting orders out of a truck window leaves way too much room for interpretation. And part of that written record involves defining what done actually means.
Like clean the site is super vague.
Exactly. What does that mean to a new guy? But saying, all scrap metal in the bin and tools in the van, that is a measurable outcome. And you check for understanding by having the crew repeat that priority back to you.
So you're shifting the focus entirely to outcomes rather than methods?
Yes.
If the job is done safely into code, does it really matter if they started on the left side instead of the right? The method is theirs, the outcome is the company's?
Relinquishing control over that method is hard for a lot of leaders. But when you remove the uncertainty and define the goalposts, you empower your team to move at a pace you could never achieve on your own.
Which brings up a final thought you really need to ponder. If you completely stepped out of the way today, what could your crew achieve with that new confidence, and what could you build with your reclaimed time?
That is definitely something to think about.
This episode of Time Well Spent was brought to you by LaborSync. Track employee hours and job site locations in real time from any device. Start your risk-free trial today at laborsync.com.